All right, today we're going to crack a code. It's a skill that can seriously make or break your success in college, and honestly, way beyond that. We're talking about mastering academic English. It's the language of research, of debate, of all the big ideas. And we're going to show you how to use it like it's your own personal superpower. You ever have that feeling? It's so frustrating. You have this brilliant concept, this killer argument in your head, but when you go to write it down, it just kind of falls flat. It doesn't have that professional, authoritative weight you hear in lectures or read in textbooks. Look, this is a super common hurdle, and we're going to tackle it head on. So what's the big deal, really? Well, there's this very real gap between the language we use every single day and the language that's expected in an academic setting. And it's not about being fancy just for the sake of being fancy. It's about being precise, formal, and clear in a really specific way. Okay, check out this subtle but really powerful shift. On the left, you've got a simple sentence. Radiation was accidentally released. The focus is on the action, the verb. But look at the academic version on the right. It transforms that action into what's called a noun phrase, the accidental release of radiation, and just like that, with that one little tweak, the whole tone becomes more formal, more analytical. And it's not just about sentence structure either. Even words we use all the time can have a completely different, much more specialized meaning. You know, discipline can mean good behavior, but in academia, it means a field of study. Solid can mean, not a liquid, but it can also mean reliable or high quality. And that is a huge piece of the puzzle, right? It's like you have to relearn words you thought you already knew. But here is the really good news. This isn't some impossible barrier that's designed to keep you out. It's much more like a secret code. And the cool thing about a code is, once you understand the rules and you have the key, you can do more than just read it. You can start writing it fluently. At its heart, that's what academic English really is. It's the universal language of scholarship. It doesn't matter if you're studying marine biology in Sydney or political history in Toronto. This is the shared vocabulary that allows brilliant minds from all over the planet to connect, to debate, and to build on each other's work. And this brings us to what might be the most important point. You do not need to go memorize a dictionary. I mean, who has time for that? That's overwhelming and it's just not efficient. Instead, I want you to think of it like you're assembling a toolkit of powerful, versatile words and phrases that are going to do the heavy lifting for you in pretty much any academic situation. So, what's in this toolkit? Well, we can break it down into 3 essential building blocks. You've got a set of key nouns to frame your ideas, key verbs to describe your actions, and key adjectives to add that crucial precision. So let's break them down one by one. First up, the nouns. Think of words like issue, theory, and principle as the load-bearing walls of your argument. They frame the entire discussion. Then you have words like aspect, feature, and pattern that let you zoom in on the specific details. When you use these correctly, your writing gets this instant professional backbone. Next, let's talk verbs, the action words of your research. Using a precise verb like investigate or examine tells your reader exactly how you approached a topic. And then, using confident verbs like demonstrate or establish shows them what you discovered. That's a huge difference, right? It's the difference between just describing what you did and boldly declaring what you found. And finally, we've got adjectives. These are your tools for precision. I mean, is it just a problem or is it a potential problem? Is your methodology just a method or is it a rigorous and systematic one? Adjectives like these add that critical layer of nuance and show the quality of your thinking. This is how you build authority and credibility in your writing. Okay, so we have the tools in our kit. But, a hammer, a saw, and a box of nails, that's not a house until you actually put them together. The same exact thing goes for academic vocabulary. The real magic, the real power, comes from knowing how to combine these words effectively. This is what linguists call collocations, which is really just a fancy way of saying words that love to hang out together in teams. For example, you don't just do research, you conduct research. You don't just have a big part, you play a pivotal role. Learning these phrases as complete chunks makes your language sound so much more natural and fluent. It's way more efficient than trying to learn every single word by itself. Okay, so you want a practical strategy to actually do this? Here it is, a simple 4-step plan. When you find a new academic word, don't just jot it down. Instead, 1. Put it in a full example sentence. 2. Note the other words it usually hangs out with. 3. Identify any special features, like if it's super formal.
And 4, list its word family, like the noun form or its opposite. This kind of active learning is what really burns it into your brain.
All right, let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. Why are we going to all this trouble? Why is mastering this code so darn important? Well, I promise you, it goes way, way beyond just getting a better grade on your next essay.
This skill is about transforming yourself from someone who just consumes information into someone who actively produces knowledge. It's about earning your seat at the table in those huge, important conversations that are happening in your field. And this quote, this just nails it. This is the ultimate purpose of it all. It's not about trying to sound smart, it's about being understood with absolute clarity and impact. It's about sharing your unique perspective in a way that truly connects with and contributes to this global community of thinkers.
So if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. Academic language is not a wall that's meant to keep you out. It's a bridge. It's your ticket to jump in and fully participate in the global exchange of knowledge, to have your voice heard, and to make a real contribution. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. After everything we've talked about today, what's the first word, the first phrase, the first tool from this toolkit that you are going to pick up and make your own?